Round 6 is very close. Previewing. Kev, how are you, mate? How's your week been?
It's been good, Dobbo. Actually, had a bit of misfortune in the family. Ava, my daughter, snapped her ankle, broke a bone in her ankle, playing tag footy.
Hang on. Whoa. A little bit of misfortune? That's horrific.
Yes, shocking.
That's a huge, a little bit of misfortune. Your youngest.
Well, let's start it again.
No, let's keep it. We're not starting anything again. Ava, I'm sorry. Operation?
We're still waiting on the orthopaedic surgeon to let us know.
Oh, geez. Poor thing. Ava.
So we iced it all Monday night, the old rice.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was ligament damage, and took it to the doctor. We got some x-rays, and they told us that she's got a
I don't want to laugh over, I'm sorry.
No, she's in a lot of pain on Monday night.
I bet, is she all right now? Give her the green whistle. I'm sure you would have had a couple of spare green whistles around.
No. Yeah, but look, she's still in a lot of pain. She's got crutches.
Well, we're thinking of you, Ava Walters, and at only 20 years of age, to have your rugby league season cut short so quickly.
Well, she's pretty fortunate because she's hoping to play in the B&D out at Wynnum.
End of the year, and that starts back in.
So they got 8 weeks before they start their game, so she'll miss the pre-season part of it, but she'll be able to get some footy in, which is relieving for her.
That is a little bit of misfortune. A lot. Okay, let's get into the big talking points, and please let us know in your comments. We're going to start with Adam Reynolds. As we speak, captain's run is on. Now, it's expected that he'll get through the captain's run, but if we wind back 6 days ago, he came off at halftime after a chip and chase. He was cleared of any damage of his hamstring in the scan.
Right.
He's 36 years of age. I'd love to know, Inside Ball podcast listeners, what do you think? And Kevin, the big one for me is, regardless if he gets through, which he's confident of, surely you don't play him this week.
No, I'd be going on Easter holidays if I was Reno with the kids and the family.
Yep.
Put the feet up. He came off at
45-minute mark, 50-minute mark.
Chipped and chased. That was an acceleration movement from him.
Yep.
He would have hit top speed in that movement on the GPS that they wear in the back of their jerseys. And then he goal kicked. He said he felt it in the first half.
Yep.
Something not quite right. Got to half-time, thought, it'll be right. And straight after half-time, he's accelerated high speed, and then he kicked the goal. And he said, I think when he was kicking the goal, that's when he really felt it. So off he goes. Now, someone like Adam Reynolds is a very experienced player. You don't just go off. He would have just got, because he's so competitive.
Yeah.
So you don't just walk off the field. That was the game hadn't been won by then. The margin was starting to blow out a bit, but the game was still, alive. So for me, I'd be listening to my own body and my own head. He's a very experienced player. And there's an old saying in rugby league, if you think you're ready to play, coming back from injury, just give it one more week.
Okay, I spoke to him yesterday. Here's what he said. He said, I don't know how many more games I'm going to play, so if I can play a game for the Broncos, I want to play as many as I possibly can.
Well, Adam, I'm going to ring you up tonight, mate, and I'm going to rule you out myself. He's too important to them, mate.
I agree. I actually said to him, mate, what are you doing? Don't play.
No.
Do not play.
No, but see, the noise around is, he can't play, he can't back up, he can't. That's absolute garbage. Last year he had a bad year, and that can happen. But the year before he played 23 games. The year before that I think it was 22 or 21.
Yeah.
So last year was the least amount of games he's played in a season in his career, right? So that can happen to players. And it happened to Reno last year, unfortunately, because we all paid a price for that.
I was just about to say, that's a huge statement, and that's a huge step because your halfback is the most crucial person in the game. And then as the coach, you're the one that got penalised on that.
Well, the whole team...
We're moving on from that.
The whole team pays a penalty when he's not there. But the Broncos have great depth, right? They got options there.
What do they do?
Billy Walters could play there, so...
My mail is if he doesn't play, Billy shifts to 6 and they're going to potentially play Smoothie. The reason I know it was like Blake Moser, but mate, I keep on hearing Blake Moser's shoulder is shot.
Right. Well, I watched him on Sunday again.
How was he?
He was good. He wasn't as good as the week before, but he was still good. I think he laid on 1 or 2 tries. He's just very creative out of dummy half and keeps that ruck really honest. But
you rate him as a long-term hooker?
I do, certainly, but he's got to get his shoulder right, mate.
Yeah, he's got to have
his shoulder's not right.
The mail is that he's got to have an operation. They're trying to nurse it through, but I mean,
get the operation.
They've got an absolute flurry of depth of hookers. So
yeah, but
why
he's got
wouldn't you?
10 years in front of him, his career, so I'd be fixing it right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't play Reno this week against the Roosters.
You go,
and you get and the mail is Billy to 6, keep Hunt at 7, and Smoothie potentially comes onto the bench.
okay, well, that's a good option for them.
Yeah, this is only just what I've heard. I don't know.
Speculation, we don't know what goes on.
And like
behind.
Reno at the moment is playing, so it'll be a last minute Friday night special around
Just before
6:50.
kickoff.
Around 6:50, the team list will come through, and Ren won't be playing.
Well, he's been named at 7, so
Yeah.
that to me indicates that he's probably going to play.
Well, he hadn't trained with the team on Tuesday. He's training with the team as we speak. So, we'll know a little bit more later.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with your journalism there. You should have been all over that.
I'm
Dobbo.
not a journalist. Can you stop with?
Well-
You journalists go to university.
Right. Well,
They
you
can
went to
spell.
university.
No, I went to the Territory School of Hard Knocks, University of Hard Knocks. That was it. For me.
That's
Now listen,
not bad. I'll pay that one.
Travis
1-0
Main,
Dobbo.
Travis Main's article in the Courier Mail.
What's Trav saying now?
He's done a deep dive into the HIAs. And
Right.
what it's found, and the NRL won't give the exact statistics, but what they will confirm is that the defenders are more likely to be concussed than the ball carrier over the course of their time in records, which would say, and if you just have a look at the last weekend, Fainu gets wiped out because he got his head in the wrong, trying to tackle.
Yep.
Piakura got his head in the wrong tackle. It's thought provoking, and because they're having this crackdown on the head injuries.
Yeah.
But can I ask you on tackle technique? To me,
Yep.
have we lost our way as a sport on tackle technique? Because if that's the case, why are we cracking down on these swinging arms when really majority of HIAs, like 70%, the number is roughly, is coming from tackles?
I reckon Trav's onto something there because I noticed myself with the tackle technique. Now, back when and this is a long time ago, and I haven't been around junior rugby league for a long. My kids obviously came through; but they're all older now. One of the first day of training, I got taught the proper technique on how to tackle.
Yep.
We actually started on our knees and just had a player run at you, and you got to get your shoulder in, get your head to the side of the hip, not in front. Get it to the side, and you drive through the tackle. This is in the early
Under
70s.
sixes, this is midgets. The under sixes. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Right. So, and then that progresses to standing, and then it used to roll a tyre, and all these simple drills about tackle technique. And it was always under the ball, right? Clean tackle. And some of our best ever tacklers, Trevor Gilmeister, Tony Carroll, under the ball. You listen to Gilly. Gilly talks about 3 things in defence. He talks about getting your feet to the tackle, shoulder and head to the side, shoulder into the body, head to the side, and drive with your legs.
So why is this? Why are we in love with this trying to wrestle and slow the ruck and get them onto their back instead of, mate, some of the best
buying
tackles.
time, mate. They're buying
Scotty
time.
Sattler. What about like the good old fashioned bootlace tackle? I mean, the one that comes to mind is the Scott Sattler Toddy Byrne tackle in the grand final.
Yeah.
It was absolutely copybook.
Yeah, but he didn't start at the boots. He started at the hips and then slid down, which is the side-on tackle, which you get taught as well. So, a lot of the tackling today is not your classic how people
Why?
are taught. Well, it's changed because they try and slow down the ruck. The big thing in today's game with the defence is to lock the ball. Offloads are a worry, and so that you get control in the tackle.
Yeah.
And the referees now don't allow, if you do a good low tackle, they don't allow you time to hang on to the legs.
Yeah, they give
to
you a
get back
penalty.
to you get a penalty, or you just got to let the legs go and you're out of play. You're that third man back late in the defensive line, so it's a disadvantage. So that's why they got away from it, Dobbo.
So have we got it wrong? And has the NRL? I thought Travis Main's article yesterday was quite thought provoking in that sense that I'm like, you know what? That's the issue. Like, I understand we've got to protect the head, the swinging arms. There is some
100%.
contact.
We're all in agreement.
But we don't see a lot of people getting knocked out from high shots anymore.
It's a very physical game, rugby league, right?
Yeah.
And there are going to be accidents. And I don't know. I never played with one player that actually went out there to take someone's head off.
Yeah.
Right? They went out physical and wanted to be tough and physical, but it was all legal.
Yeah.
And sometimes things can go wrong, which they do. And the other thing that's affecting the tackle technique is the ability of today's players with their movement. They're so fit and fast and agile. You know, everyone's got a sidestep. You know, back in the 10 years ago, there were middle forwards there, outside backs, that all they did was just ran the ball straight. That's what the coach told me. You run hard and you run fast.
Jared McCracken like.
Let's not go back there, Dobbo. But so now, look at Payne, that try that Payne has scored the other day.
Yeah, he went. Yeah,
but
and he
his footwork.
stepped off his left and went back to the right. Yeah, very good.
And most middle forwards have got that late footwork, which can put yourself in a position of vulnerability with your head. But you know, you just got to, you know, get your feet into the contact as late as possible. Keep moving your feet, and you got to worry about your head and where you actually put your head. Some of these players, I played with guys that they would put their head where I wouldn't put my feet. You know, players like Peter Ryan, Tony Carroll.
Who's the best defensive tackler?
Trevor Gilmeister and Tony Carroll, mate. They're
and
the two.
Tunza.
Yeah.
So that tackle...
When they used to hit them, they would snap them, like, into the thighs. I remember playing with Gilly, and because Gilly was always helping me with my defence, because I didn't... You know, I could have tackled a lot. I was okay, but Gilly was the man in defence, and so was Tony Carroll. They both helped me a lot. Before every scrum, both of them, and this is different eras, don't forget, Gilly used to say to me, "Hey, Kevie, see your head? Lead it in the tackle. Every scrum." I said, "No worries, Gilly." And Tony Carroll was the same. Tony Carroll protected Darren Lockyer for 10 years with his defence. Tony Carroll. We're going to get him on the show too, Big Tunza. He'll come on, he'll be able to tell us all about that. But
I'd love to talk to him about why, because he prided himself on it.
But, mate, they used to snap blokes. Like Gilly's, and Bunny Riley taught him at the Roosters back in the late 80s on how to... He used to walk off, blood coming off out of his ears, out of his nose, from a session with Bunny Riley.
Just loved it.
But Gilly, look at his defence. That was amazing. And big fellas. I remember a shot he pulled off on Paul Harrigan in an Origin game. Like, just snapped his legs. You could hear it's just clean, thick, and into their thighs. And they'd get up and they'd think, well, what was that? Yeah. Next thing, Gilly would get up and, you know, away they'd go. Same with Tony Carroll. Wow.
We've got to get the axe on as well.
Yeah.
Hey, 4 years, a long time. Passing of Tommy Raudonikis. It's his anniversary on Monday.
It was on Monday.
You know, and Tommy, the last time I actually had a bit to do with him was at the Smart Pups lunch. He was a huge ambassador of the Smart Pups lunch. But
what a fella! Yeah, I was very fortunate.
You had a bit of time with him.
I crossed paths with Tommy back up at Ipswich in the Jets when I was only 18, 19 years of age. And I mentioned about Wally the other week, about one of my favourite times, you know, in rugby league. Well, this is another one of my favourites, and I was only 17 or 18 years of age. Tommy Raudonikis actually, two things. First thing is he came around to our house at Merton Street, East Ipswich, and signed myself and Kerrod Walters to a contract at the Jets.
Is that
my
right?
first ever contract, yeah. And when we heard the knock at the door, I forget who, I didn't answer the door, it was Mum or someone, and Mum yelled out, "Oh, Kev, there's someone here to see you." I thought, who's coming around here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you know? And Tommy Raudonikis was at the door. I thought, "Mate, have you got the right address here?" What? He said, "No, yeah, I have, Kev." He said, "I've come around to sign you and your brother to the Jets."
Is that right?
And my heart was just, because, you know, in the backyard, and I used to be Tommy. I loved, because I remember watching him play at the old Lane Park. This is pre-Origin, so there's so many young listeners out there and viewers, they won't even know. But so before State of Origin, there's interstate games, and Tommy played 24 of these for New South Wales, and one year the selectors dropped him out of the team. So we went and had a look at the game. He was number 14, and Queensland were winning. So Tommy's come on. Steve Mortimer was the player that he was.
Yep.
So Mortimer got left out of the side. Mortimer was playing. Tommy was on the bench. They started the game. New South Wales were behind. Just after half-time, Tommy got injected into the game. First thing he did was belted Greg Oliphant, his opposite number 7, in the face. Let's go. And it changed the whole game, the whole mentality of New South Wales. And New South Wales he scored a try and they won. So from that moment forward, I was a huge fan. Not because of the punch, but just the way he came on and how competitive he was.
How tough was he?
He was tough as I've never seen anyone tougher. Dobbo. I actually had the fortune, it's another favourite, of playing against Tommy for Bavale Swifts, my junior club, senior football.
Yeah.
Tommy was playing captain coach for Fassbone. He would have been 40-odd years of age.
The Mighty Bombers.
The Bombers, right? So first scrum, In those days, loose heads and tight heads and winning the ball against the feed was all the rage.
Yeah.
So I'm feeding the scrum, right, for my team, and we're attacking their line. And Tommy was standing beside me, and he had spit and he had saliva and he just looked scary, He said, listen here, young fella, if you throw that ball in your side of the scrum, you're going to wear one of these.
Stop it.
No. And he said, if you think I'm joking, just go ahead and do it. And I thought, oh, my God, what am I going to do here? I fed the ball into their half, and they won the scrum. They got the scrum. And he ran past me after the scrum.
Yeah.
He said, you learn quick around here, young fella, don't you? And he
threatened you on the field.
Threatened me. And I said, I'm not going to pull the great Tommy Raudonikis on here. This is crazy.
How old were you,
And
Kev?
Kerrod was the hooker.
How old were you?
I would have been 17 or 18 years of age.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
And Kerrod was the hooker, and so he wasn't happy. He said, what are you doing? I said, Tommy said one of these. He said, oh, fair enough.
Oh, Tommy, may you rest in peace. Just a wonderful man, and we lose characters.
Mate, he was one of the great players
one
too.
of the
His
great,
record.
mate. Loved it.
He was captain of teams, and you could see that he was a great leader, even through his coaching. Did a lot of coaching as well. So, yeah we love you, Tom.
Think of you often, mate.
Yeah.
Let's get into the preview tonight. The Panthers take on the Dolphins. Dylan Edwards is back. Dolphins had their first win. We've done that. Can they go back to back?
Well, look, I think this is tougher now with Edwards in, and Talagi's playing as well, isn't he?
Plays Talangi, yeah. So
I like that include. I've been waiting for him to make his debut. He's come off the bench a couple of games, but
Jack Cole's injured, so
it gives him an opportunity. But they've held him back, haven't they? Like we're in around 6, and he hasn't really had any influence yet over the Panthers. But I think the combination with him and Cleary, that's a dangerous one if they can get things fired up. And you got Edwards at fullback. That's a strong lineup.
What's your tip?
I'm gonna tip the Panthers here in this one. Yeah, I know it's at Suncorp, but I just think that those three have got enough there. And the Dolphins, they were good last week against the Titans. This is the next level up though.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Okay, so you're backing Penrith. I think I'm going to take the Dolphins just because I don't want the Dolphins to think that I'm not on them. But anyway, that's it.
I like the Dolphins too, obviously. Of
course.
Queensland club,
Go Redcliffe.
Right? But the thing that, in favour of the Panthers, right, in favour of the Dolphins rather, the Panthers have let in 140 points this year, which is so out of character. That's an average of 28 a game. So that's a lot of points. So if the Dolphins can get their defence on, they'll be able to score some points, but it's a matter of just defending them,
How it goes. Yeah. All right, let's head to Wollongong. First game, Titans take on St George. I mean, they were bad. No Tino this week. Yeah. But you just can't trust the Dragons at the moment. I know they're stacked. Doesn't matter what. I mean, Des has got this weird sort of theory, the 2-day turn down there. I think the bounce back for the Titans might be real. Yeah. I think they can win it.
Well, they're too good a team. For what happened last week. I mean, the Dolphins were good, but they just Tino
went early,
they just lost their way. But before they knew it, it was 22-0 or whatever. So I like the Titans. I think the bounce back away in Sydney. They had a good win in Sydney a couple of weeks ago against the Roosters. So I think the Titans can win that one. And the Dragons have been so up and down. They could have won last week. You're not a fan?
Don't get me going about them. They bug me. It's my biggest bugbear.
Right.
They just can't. What about there on Friday night? Geez, the battles have been unbelievable. Second time in 6 weeks they have to play each other. They put 50 on them in round 1. Broncos take on the Roosters. It's at home. The Renault factor might be an issue at
whether
all.
he plays or not, I think Brisbane can win.
Yeah.
Right? I think they'll win and win comfortably. I just like what the Broncos are doing at the moment. They're not playing great, but they're winning. They've got to fix their defence because they are leaking too many points to be a threat at the end of the year.
Sure.
But the points in them is amazing. And Reece Walsh hasn't really got going yet, has he really? And Ezra Mann's still parked in the garage.
Well, you won't see him till round 12, so you've still got a little bit of a wait for him.
Is it round 9?
Oh, I don't know. They won't play him straight away. They're not going to bring him straight back in. You've got to go and play a bit of football, a bit of park football first.
Well,
God help whichever interest side
I know what I'd be doing.
Yeah, you'd be putting him straight in.
Straight in, mate. Ezra Mann.
Mate, you're stacked at the moment. What do you mean you put him straight in? He hasn't played. You got to give him some game time. You just don't come straight in.
Training and stuff. Maybe a week or two, but
3 weeks.
Well, okay.
I'm a coach. Not
no,
you. What would I know?
Yeah. You would know a lot, but look,
No, I'm right. You're right. But I'm interested to know, would
Mate,
you ring
that's
him straight back?
no. Well, I'd have to see how they're going and what's happening, at the time.
See, I don't know how they're going to work it because I don't think they'll change that halves combination.
Well, they probably won't,
So what's he, a 14?
Ezra. Well, there goes Billy if he's 14.
I don't know about that. Billy might be the starting hooker. You don't know that. You don't know that, and we don't know that. We're just assuming. Now, so you're tipping Brisbane?
Yeah, Brisbane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tipping Brisbane. Okay, let's go to Saturday. Sharks taking on Manly. This is a game in Perth. I don't like it.
Double header in Perth now.
I don't like this.
Why don't you like it?
I don't like it.
Expand the game, Dobbo.
Yeah, great. Send one. They're getting the Origin as well, which is a bugbear of mine. Yeah,
That's a different.
You don't like Origin in Perth. You know that.
No.
You've got bad juju over there. With it. But you had not good experiences with Perth and Queensland side.
Well, I nearly had to play a die on me over there. Remember?
It nearly did.
Moses.
Oh, my God. If only people knew that. There's another one. We should get him an inside ball. Just on another note, please go down and listen to our Steve Renoff chat, The Pearl. We dropped that on Wednesday. He's just an awesome chat. Okay, who are you tipping in this one?
Which game we going?
Manly, Cronulla first up.
Manly, I think, over there. Cronulla have been a bit up
I'm
and down.
with you on this.
So have Manly. I've got to say that. Is the DCE saga, is that buried yet? Or?
I don't think it's buried till we know. I think it's there. I think it's festering. I don't think it's a huge issue, but I don't think...
Is it going to be sorted anytime soon?
No.
Because I believe it may be affected. I know the Storm are really good against...
Are exceptional.
Yeah. So, in the Battle of Brookie, but it never wasn't much of a battle, was it?
No. It'll be interesting to see. You're tipping Manly, I'm tipping Manly. What about Cowboys taking on the next game? Yeah, Cowboys, they take on...
they're taking on South
Sydney.
Now, a couple of outs and a big in for South, or not so much a big in, but Latrell Mitchell in the six jumper. I like it. I think it'd be good for... Like, Wayne's had to shuffle the board around again, hasn't he? Because the injuries have played their part.
Alex Johnson's back.
Johnson's back, yeah.
Ewan Aiken's in.
Ewan Aiken back, which is good in for them, good experienced player. Reuben Cotter back for the Cowboys. He missed the last game through illness. This will be a really tight, bash them up, knock them down sort of game, I reckon. And the Cowboys have been on the road, haven't they? They went from that game.
Where'd the Cowboys play last
week? Well, they've been on the road, right? Yep. So I think that's good for them. Brings tightness together and team camaraderie.
Well, they won down at Combank last week.
Yeah.
Right.
They've been in Sydney and then they've gone.
Now they went straight to Perth. So they're on the road.
They beat the Premiers last week, didn't they? So I think they can win over in Perth.
You're going to back them?
Yeah, I'll go. I've got to go the Queensland team, Dobbo.
South Sydney for me.
That's using my head too. I think they've found a good bit of form, the Cowboys. If Tommy did can get going, which he can, Jackson Purdue's been in great stuff. Drinkwater at the back, they can create some problems for the South defence. I think they can win, definitely.
Righto. So you're tipping them. Darwin's the next game.
Geez, we're all going around Aussie, mate.
Parramatta taking on Canberra. I'm going to say Canberra, but the reason being the big news that came out yesterday, Zach Lomax gone for 6 to 10 weeks. It's also going to affect his origin. So they've got no Moses, no Zach Lomax. That's a huge out.
The Raiders are good crocodile wrestlers too, so you need to be safe up there. We've been up there a couple of times with the Broncos. It's a great little stadium. The
Crocosaurus, the Crocosea, whatever it is.
Yeah,
they dived into the water and the croc comes there.
Oh, I sprayed him.
You won that week, didn't you?
We won one up there and lost one. Yeah, against we still play Parramatta. Yeah. So they've obviously replacing this game. The Raiders will go well up there. Sticky they'll be surely used to their travel by now. They've been all around the world. Vegas,
Townsville,
Cairns.
Brisbane, mate, four fellas. I feel for them a bit.
Yeah,
that's in 6 weeks. Anyway, they'll get a big run of home games. They had 2 home games in 6 weeks, so they'll get that. You're tipping them to beat Parramatta.
Yeah, they'll beat Parramatta up there certainly.
Okay,
primed.
Righto, let's talk to Sunday. And 2 games.
Storm Warriors first.
It's such a rivalry. It's at Amy Park.
Yeah.
What do you like about the Storm in this one?
Oh, I think at Amy Park they're a really good side, hard to beat. They were good last week, got back to their old self again. I think Munster, Grant, Hughes, Pappenhausen's I think is under a bit of an injury cloud, so you'd expect that even with those three, gee, they're good footballers. They just
Good footballers.
like, you look at all the tries that are created, and it's normally the way I get it. But gee, that Munster he just had 5 minutes of brilliance.
Unbelievable.
Like, he had spiders on him, like they couldn't tackle him.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. So you're going to tip Melbourne?
Yeah, but it's funny in Melbourne because I used to work at the Storm many years back, and the Warriors Storm clash is a huge one.
Huge.
You know, they've had lots
Well,
of
normally Anzac Day.
but I think people were getting upset that they were getting the Anzac Day game all the time, so they swapped it around this year. But I've been to those games. My son, Jet, used to be a huge Warriors fan as well.
Yeah.
So Storm playing the Warriors, Jet's in the crowd. The Warriors are up at halftime. He's done the jersey switch. He's had the Warriors jersey there in the kit bag underneath the seat. Oh, well, I was up in the coach's box, but NRL was sitting with him. He said, Jet, you got a Warriors jersey on. He said, yeah, they're in front. I'm going for the Warriors.
I love you, Jetty. Love you, mate.
He went through the phase there when this was a lot of years ago. Yeah. He was mad on the Warriors, and the Harker and all that.
Of course.
All that stuff.
Otherwise,
Mate, they're playing good footy, though.
Yeah, they're not going to win against Melbourne.
They won't beat the Storm.
Well, Jerome Luai back in the West Tigers. Will they beat Newcastle?
I think they will, yeah. Luai's very important to them, not only on the field but off the field as well, confidence-wise.
Yeah. He
brings a lot to the team, brings that winning edge, that not a lot of players have got. And he gets that from the 4 premierships that he's won, at Penrith. So, yeah, I think the Knights will be good at home. They're a better team at home. Caelan's been a bit quiet, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
So if he can get a spike, but they've got some injuries there and into their depth players. So, yeah, I just think that the Tigers will be with Luai back in the side. I think they'll be too strong.
All right, where are you this weekend with Fox, mate? What have you got? You got tonight, the Thursday night. Are you on the panel tonight?
I'm on the panel tonight, and then Friday night paneling.
Yep.
Then I'll call a game Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and then back home.
And back home Saturday night. You got the late flight, so it's good.
Yeah, you love it. Okay, well, now you didn't cook on Friday. You said you were going to like a little curry early this week. Did that happen, or you throwing the towel?
No, the curry didn't happen. But I'll tell you what is happening tonight. I've prepared it before I go. I've done the crumbed chicken. Kevie's crumbed chicken.
Stop it.
Mate.
What's Kevie's crumbed chicken?
Well,
I love how you're cooking crumbed chicken for your poor daughter who's got a broken ankle.
That's why I'm cooking it.
Oh, it's a favourite?
That's her favourite dish.
Kevie's crumbed chicken. Tell me about it.
Well, mate, this is an easy one to knock up if all you single dads or single mums at home. So all you need,
married.
You can be married and cook it as well.
You don't have to be single. No, but it's a single man.
Like we were talking to Benny Teo the other day. He'd never cooked. He was a single man for a long time.
Yeah, but anybody that wants to cook Kevie's crumbed chicken, you don't have to be single. I just want to preface that. Go on.
This is simple, very simple. Just knock some eggs into them.
Yeah, breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you dip it into the egg, into the bread. Just cover it with breadcrumbs in the oven, mate. Bake, or I prefer to fry mine just on a little bit of oil, olive oil. It's got to be olive oil in a pan, about a centimetre of oil, and cook them, mate, and crispy. And if you want to do the palmies, you can as well, because Ava likes the palmies.
Well, you put a bit of ham and cheese on top.
Ham and cheese on top, bake them in the oven for 10 minutes.
Kevie's crumbed chicken.
But they've got to be served with wedges.
We're going to get a cookbook.
Hey, got to be served with wedges and Caesar salad.
Right.
You've got on the Caesar salad as well.
Mate, anybody out there that is willing to make us Kevie's crumbed chicken, we'll come to you for dinner one night. Because seriously, it's that easy. You just dip it in egg and put a bit of breadcrumbs and then bake it.
It sounds simple, and it is. I like simple things in life, Dobbo.
Really? Why are you working with me then?
I can see a lot of people at home now going to their recipe books
Kevie's
and writing this
chicken.
down.
No, well, this is one of our cookbook recipes, Kevie's crumbed chicken. All right, Kev, we had a bit of luck last week with the betting. Now
we got 2 legs in, didn't we?
2 legs in. What do we look like this week?
Right, this week, again going for a fun bet, right? So the odds are quite high. The Dolphins and the Panthers, right? So we're taking all the Queensland clubs again in some way. But we're actually going the Panthers tonight at the line, so give the 7.5 start. So if the Panthers win by 8 or more,
we win.
That's a tick, right? Second game is the Titans at the line. I like the Titans to beat the Dragons, just to
straight out.
Wow.
Okay, so Penrith to win 8 or more.
Yep.
Then go on the line, Titans to win.
And then North Queensland, well, we're going to stick with our man Jackson Purdue. He's
Try-scoring machine.
Try scorer last week. We'll score again this week. And the last one is there's two in this. Shibasaki's been in great touch.
Unbelievable.
Line breaks, tries. He'll get a try
this
week against the Roosters. And the Broncos 13+ against them. That's even with Reno in or out, no problem. 13+ the Bronx.
So we got Panthers to win 8+. You know, if they win, then your Titans to win on the line. Jackson Purdue to score a try. Gemmet Shibastaki to score a try. And the Broncos to win 13+.
Yeah. That'll round out a good weekend. That'll be all over by Friday night. You have a great weekend then.
Bloody oath. No, well, you've got the Cowboys on Saturday.
Oh, there's
You've got to wait. Saturday night, you'll be going out and you're having a little shardy after your little afternoon.
Maybe a bit of Chinese this week. You said Chinese last week.
China Sea, yeah, big fan of that. I love the China Sea. Please go and have a look at our chat with Steve Renoff. And once again, you can always, with our social media, please just invite a friend. That's what we did. I invited a friend. You know who I invited to join, who started following us?
Who's that?
The great Brent Tate. I was with him yesterday.
Okay.
I said to him, "You've been listening?" He goes, "Mate, I've been seeing it come up." I said, "Mate, give us a follow." He got straight on, gave us a follow. That's our on Instagram.
He's in our list as well. He's in our sites, Tatey. We've got to get him.
Now, go on.
Fun fact. I love giving out the fun facts. Brent Tate made his and he'll talk about it. I won't made his debut for the Broncos beside me.
Is that right?
And let's just say it didn't go too well for Tatey.
Righto, Kev's questions. We've got a lot of questions for you just to wrap this up. Okay, Kevie, if Penrith are outside the top 4 but still in the 8, do you believe that they could be the first team to win a comp?
No. History shows us, Dobbo, the stats, everything. You need to be in that top 4 to take out the premiership.
So that's an NO.
That's a no.
Okay. What would you be doing if you weren't doing football?
I'd be a carpenter. I was a carpenter by trade, so I'd be in the building industry somewhere.
Are you good with that?
No. I'd still be in the industry, though. There's plenty of mugs out there being all different trades, Dobbo, that, you know.
They are.
I'm fortunate. We're a family of carpenters. You know, my pop was a carpenter. My dad was a carpenter.
Yeah.
I got
Jack's a carpenter.
Jack,
Billy,
and Harry
are all carpenters.
Yeah. I was studying engineering.
Who's the best out of those 3 boys?
What, carpentry-wise?
Yeah.
Jack is. Walter's Brothers Construction.
Yeah, I know, but I think Harry's coming with a freight train.
Harry's coming through.
Yeah. But Jack's the winner at the moment.
Don't go into Billy's work. He's no good. Don't hire Billy Walters as a carpenter. Hire him as a football
Bill,
player.
I'm sorry, mate.
No carpentry.
Oh, my God.
Jack's fine and Harry's fine. And don't hire me either.
Yeah, Walters Construction. Thoughts on teams playing each other twice as early in the season? Broncos, Roosters within 6 weeks. How do they get this bloody draw?
Don't like it, Dobbo. And I know you feel the same way.
I've been blown up about the draw. I can't believe it.
And it also, it's unfair. Why some teams are playing each other twice within 6 weeks?
Yeah, some teams have got Penrith twice.
Well, and the Roosters would not, they're normally the Broncos. If you're the Roosters, you get the Broncos twice.
Yeah, you're filthy.
I'm not a big fan. I don't know how they do their draw, whether they throw it into...
No, it's an algorithm in Canada. I'm telling you about it. It's bloody garbage. There's not a game in Sydney this weekend.
Shocking.
You've got 2 in Perth, 1 in Darwin, and you haven't got 1 in Sydney.
Yeah, well, there's 4 Queensland clubs too.
Yeah, I suppose.
One game here.
No, you got 2. You got tonight, and then you got tomorrow. You got 2.
Oh, that's right.
But then you got 1 over in Perth, and you got 1 in Wollongong. I mean, bloody garbage. I get that it's gather round, but listen, I use this. I told you the other day, when I make a batch of spaghetti, I don't eat it all at once. I have one little bowl here, and then I have another one the next day. You don't need 2 games in Perth like a double header. You're getting an Origin. Give them 1.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to Darwin. We're never going to win Darwin.
No, but that's a
change
agreement.
It for another week.
No, it's an agreement that
change it on another week. It doesn't need to be on the same week we've got 2 in Perth. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
the algorithm in Canada, whoever you got their multicultural round wrong last week when they had a bye, the New Zealand Warriors. Women in league round, the NRL isn't even playing. They're not even playing. They've got women in league round, and the women aren't even playing that week. I mean, seriously. Then you've got this dog's breakfast. There's not a game in Sydney this weekend.
Yeah.
You do so many wonderful things. Quickly while I got you, just thought, bit of talk around potentially NRL might buy the Super League in England.
Yeah.
You played there. What's your thoughts? You coached the Catalans.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I think any investment that we have in our game certainly should be put into the over there. You know,
Yeah, try to get that competition up.
Yeah, well, they got great talent. They got good coaches. We've seen a lot of their players come to the NRL and do well. Likewise, we've seen a lot of Australians not doing quite so well here, but go to England, resurrect their career, and then come back. So I think it's a positive for all, mate. And they're talking about expanding the game there too. Another team in France, maybe a team in Italy.
Yeah.
I think it's nothing but positive, mate. And the reason why the NRL's going so well is it's well financed. So they got to get their finance package right.
Well, that's the rights agreement, the Sky TV deal. That's the big one that they need to get on. And that comes up in 28. So if they can get that done, get more money for bang for their buck, that goes back into the game. You grow the game, and it's a great pathway, and then it's run properly.
100% I agree. So V'landys, your PVL, your mate, you're connected with PVL somewhere. He's done a great job here with the NRL.
Let him off the leash and let him over at the Super League.
Let him go, yeah. He's a go-getter, mate. He gets things done that not many people can do.
So does Kevie's crumbed chicken. One of the seriously, one of the best recipes. One of the best recipes we've heard. InsideBall.podcast. Please share with a friend. Go and have a listen to Steve Renoff. We'll be back on Monday with a recap. It's a short week because of Easter. Yeah. We will be back there. Kevie, have a great weekend at Fox. I've got a lot of Triple M on. Till next time, we'll see you later.